are. Welcome to my stack of books that I have read. This doesn't represent books that I've listened to on audiobooks or on Kindle, obviously. I've been collecting this stack of books, I think, since the beginning of the pandemic. And normally I would sort through them and find a home for them when a single stack gets too tall to be balanced. But this, you'll notice there are two stacks. My single stack couldn't be balanced anymore. One day they pitched over, and I've just been adding since then. Anyway, it's time to get down to business. So I am going to sort through these books. I'm going to put them into, I'm pretty sure, 4 stacks. One stack will be books that will head down to my office in the basement. One stack that will go to the library bookshelves in our family room. One stack that will be for books that I want to pass on to other people, friends and family. And the last stack will be books that I'll pass on to the library, the local library, for them to sell at their next book sale. So here we go. And I'll point out some of the books. Do you recommend the Book of Lost Names? Just read that for a neighborhood book club. And we'll be leading a discussion on this in my book club with my friends that I've been in for a long time. That is a keeper. I'm not going to talk about every book, but the other Alcott will go to, and yes, the other Alcott and the old biography of Louisa May Alcott. I have a shelf in my office solely dedicated to Louisa May Alcott. So those will go down to my office. Friend. Oh, White Teeth, Zadie Smith. This was a book I was reading on 9/11. This is the very copy. Oh my gosh. And I was about halfway through it and I couldn't finish it. I just picked it up this past year, last year sometime. And the bookmark that was in it was for a plane ticket to my grandmother's memorial service 2 days before 9/11. So anyway, I think it's one that I'm going to donate to the library. It was worth reading, but I probably will never read it again. Oh, I'm not going to talk about every single book, but A Walk in the Woods. I actually read this many years ago when it first came out, and I pulled it out last year. I pulled it out to bring with me to read along in the car. I was keeping my uncle company. He was driving from Florida to Maine early in the pandemic, and I brought it so we could read it aloud, in part because we were going to be following a lot of the Appalachian Trail, and it's also a very funny read. Definitely a keeper. Oh, Breaking the Limit. One woman's motorcycle journey through North America. Turns out she grew up in a town right next to the town I grew up in. Definitely a keeper. Oh, Julia Glass, a novel by Julia Glass. I met Julia Glass once at a bookstore event, and she talked about the room that she writes in. She lives on the coast of Massachusetts. The room she writes in has a view of the ocean, and it makes her really happy. And the whole time she was talking, I thought, I want to be your best friend. When I had her sign a book for me, I was trying to send her this telepathic message that the two of us were soulmates. She didn't pick up on the message. I haven't seen her since. Oh, yes. This one was fascinating. Notes on a Foreign Country. This is about a woman's experience moving to Turkey as a young college student, I think, or shortly after she finished college. Anyway, it's really interesting because we hear the story of her learning about the history of Turkey, all the cultural elements, religious movements, all the things. Sort of in real time, and she presents this complexity. This is definitely a keeper. Oh, Finding George Orwell in Burma. I learned about this book from a woman who makes videos about books that she posts on YouTube. And it was really funny because she's like, this is probably a book not a lot of people would be interested in. I wish she was talking to me. I'm someone who's interested in it. Yeah, really interesting. And George Orwell, very complex guy, but he served in the military in Burma, basically helping to enforce British rule in Burma. It was interesting, definitely a keeper. Oh, I had to read Che Guevara, The Motorcycle Diaries after. Yeah, fascinating to get inside his head. The Bad Food Bible. Why you can and maybe should eat everything you thought you couldn't. Why you can and maybe should eat everything you thought you couldn't. If I were still teaching freshman writing at the university, helping them understand what it means to do solid research, to develop an argument for a research paper, I would have them read excerpts from this book, because basically this just illustrates how it's not just about pulling quotes that support your thesis from random articles, but actually really understanding the science behind the studies that were conducted so that you actually know what they're concluding and how inconclusive so many studies actually aren't. Little fires everywhere. I was going to pass this on to a friend, and her son just gave it to her for her birthday. So I enjoyed it. I'm going to pass it on to the library. And I don't know. Am I ever going to look at this again? Maybe. I'll put it in with the reference stuff. All right. Passing on to friends, passing on to the library, taking my office. And it looks like I need to vacuum where the book stack was. So I will take care of putting everything away now. And there you go. Oh, that was like really fast. Like, it doesn't feel like I read that much now, but I sort of did. I need to read more. I'm going to start building a new stack. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So this is the stack of books that I want to integrate into my office bookshelves. But here is the current state of my office bookshelves. I am very proud that my desk is clear for working, but this is one of the reasons my desk is clear. I shoved a whole lot of papers that I need to go through into my shelves. So that will perhaps be another video when I get that all sorted. I do, however, have my Louisa May Alcott shelf organized and just enough room to fit those books on. So one shelf's done.